flight simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this, and playground
vale, el Forza.
Mexico is muy, muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first look at the cover car for the game, Paris. I got $5 on it being one of those electric scooters that you see piled up on the sidewalk.
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Ya empezamos con las bromas estas que no tienen puta gracia.
Also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
Dying Light 2, Stay Human, de primero.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer, and this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human.
Sube un poco el volumen, ¿no?
We have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will
Por ahí,
give you a
vale.
foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go.
Categoría cambiada, perfecto.
Sometimes I wonder what this city
A ver.
looked like before all this. Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different...
Tenían una visión. Hamburguesas y refrescos. Hostia.
Instead of
Ese
fighting
no era
together,
Nemesis, el del Resident.
people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg?
Hope died.
Está bien por ahí, ¿no?
Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
La verdad es que no probé el primero.
I have to pick a side.
Puse parkour.
You're doing great so far.
El presentador le dijo no sé qué de simulador de parkour o no sé qué. Con zombies.
I have to make a difference.
Tiene pinta.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
Flipado, ¿no? El tío. No, como mola la hacha esa, ¿no? ¿Tienes poderes?
Is all hope?
Si tienes poderes está rotísimo
We'll
esto.
see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
Es
And
media
it's a
moderna.
very
¿Qué dices,
unique
atontado?
design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me. All those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations,
No he hecho parkour en
cooperation
la
of
vida,
professional
Julio.
traces, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
David Bell,
yes,
¿quién
right.
coño es
And we
David
got
Bell?
twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping of them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement
Ya os
really
digo, este
well
juego no lo jugué,
and made it quite
o sea, en
simple
el
for the
primero,
players to
y
perform.
no sé
I
qué
can't
rollito
wait for
lleva,
them to
pero
try it
supongo que será
out
una
and tell for
acción
themselves how much they loved it.
contra
It's
zombies,
definitely going to be
survival,
useful.
con
The
parkour,
city's
¿no?
buildings are higher than
Lo que parece.
anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to
Supongo que
find
habrá
a way
zombies,
to
habrá
reach those
peña
tall
de...
skyscrapers and other
Típico
challenging
mundo
spots too.
posapocalíptico,
And
¿sabes?
it's
Rollo
good
Mad
we
Max,
scattered some helpers around,
con zombies
like
y
the
parkour.
paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and
Joder,
combat.
no me llama la mierda este
Exactly,
juego.
and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th.
7 de
Thanks,
diciembre.
David.
Thank you.
Había fecha para esto ya. Si reservas ahora obtienes esas movidas. 7 de diciembre.
Franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers
Flight
alike
Simulator ahora,
were
¿no?
blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft
A ver, yo
Flight
lo que vi
Simulator,
me
York,
parece la
into
hostia
the
este
stream.
juego.
York, thanks for being
Gráficamente
here.
y
The last
la
time
calidad,
we
al
met
detalle
was
que
at
está
the Xbox
adaptado.
Game Showcase, and it was
Parece
getting ready
brutal.
to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but
Esto ya salió, ¿no?
Flight Simulator is one of the
Nos
highest rated
contaron
games
a
on
ver
Xbox
si
this year,
alguna expansión
which
o
I think
algo,
is
¿no?
just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
A ver, está guapo que te cagas, tío.
Congratulations on the launch, really. But
Este juego con una buena pantalla y unos buenos periféricos y
I want to
tal.
go to the danger
Ojo,
zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on.
Portera.
Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw
Es
the
verdad, metieron una
they can't
actualización
wait
de
to
Top
start
Gun.
flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside
Ah,
the
vale.
movie.
Que sale
But as the movie is still
con
under
la peli. ¿La peli cuándo
wraps,
sale?
so are we. So I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time.
Donde lanzamientos
And
mensuales.
next month, on September 7th, we are
El 7 de
launching
septiembre, que es para la semana.
World Update 6.
Bueno, dentro de 2
And,
semanas.
This World Update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane
Yeah,
flying into
yeah.
Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of GamesCon. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Ah, vale,
And what
van
that means
metiendo
for us is
regiones
we have
de-
new aerial and satellite images. We have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains, so the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new
Eso de los Alpes tiene
cities like
poco.
Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany. We have
Ok,
Basel
guapo.
in Switzerland. We have Vienna and Graz in Austria, and those cities look just amazing.
Qué
They have
guapo.
like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of
guapo.
the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports. We did Lübeck and
Coño,
Stuttgart
Lübeck.
in Germany, and
Estuve con
Klagenfurt
los
in
dos.
Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at GamesCon.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight those.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, but for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do, you actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world, not so much. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital.
Se llama una forma, nosotros lo llaman de otra, y ellos lo llaman de otra totalmente distinta.
Extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can do this. And then we're working for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Juncker.
Joder, la calidad de detalle es brutal, Esto con un buen monitor, una buena tarjeta y tal. Ojo.
Then we work with an organization
no sé si tiene VR esto
one of
incluso.
the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us
Con
scan
VR tiene que ser brutal.
And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those
Mira,
planes.
acabado del volante del avión, tío.
And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working with 40 museums around the world, and it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the job. You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies, and they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
They're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment, and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity, and we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration.
Well, eso mola
We're
mogollón.
actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working
detalle, ¿sabes? Que en los museos tengan la copia digital del avión, joder.
And they're
Eso mola
making
mucho.
an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic. So
Wow, la flipada esta. Esto lo probaron en Santiago.
How these drone type machines basically connect people.
No sé qué tal le fue. Vi que lo iban a probar, pero no sé qué pasó. No supe nada más.
The aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that.
Esto se está probando en varias ciudades del mundo a nivel real.
Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association, and every year they put on something called the National Championship Air Race. And we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth. And I
van a poner deporte de exhibición.
So race, speed. We go to the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
Let's go. A ver. 4K en tiempo real. A ver. Capturado en 4K, permitido en 1080, hijo de puta. Ya dijeron que la emisión en 4K estará después del evento en YouTube. Cuando se renderice y todo tal. Es el día 1 en PC, consola y Game Pass.
And you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator.
Reno Air Race.
It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world. There's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive interface is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
All right, thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Humble Games, día 1 en Game Pass. Aquí todos los indies, ¿no? Nos repasan, ¿o qué? Archvile. Next Space Rebels. Midnight Fight Express. Esto lo voy a apuntar luego, porque si no. Dodgeball la Academia. Busiden. Rollo retro con Flying. No, Fling. Son of Crimson. Unpacking. Puedo meter cosas en cajas. Puedo sacarlas. Signalis. Oh, este tiene buena pinta, Tighter. Chinatown Detective Academy. Agency. Si me equivoco es porque tengo el palo del micro aquí en delante y no veo un carajo. Tengo que cambiarlo de sitio. Necesito uno más largo. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 jueguitos de Xbox Game Pass.
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now, we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that in grand retro fashion sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Into the pit. Roguelike, ¿no? Temática medieval, ¿no? Parece. Shooter roguelike. Shooter roguelike. La calidad pues está grabado en 720. El 19 de octubre Game Pass.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years War.
But
we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get 1 moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing, and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Elefante.
Excellent. Well, this, I got to say, let's take a look.
A ver.
A counterweight trebuchet.
Ojo.
The king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances.
Trebuchet. Trabuquete. Pues viene siendo una especie de catapulta.
At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world.
Ojo al bicho.
Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful
Ojo al bicho, que eso mata.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
6 toneladas, ¿eh?
One of two that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons.
¿Cómo vas a levantar 6 toneladas con eso? Jodas. Está hecho de madera. Partes el brazo, coño.
About launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
¿En serio me estás contando en una movida de videojuegos cómo funciona una catapulta, tío?
And by launching the projectile from a sling. When released,
pero quiero ver cosas del juego, no quiero ver una catapulta.
Vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape.
Claro.
To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
6 toneladas, ¿dónde están entonces? A ver.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies.
¡Qué hijos de puta!
Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
Molaba. 28 de octubre. Lo tengo apuntado por algún lado, pero bueno.
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is history is only as interesting as the people who taught it to you. And you could say that about any subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV. And they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know...
O sea, contrataron una empresa para decirles cómo serían las movidas de verdad, ¿no?
Of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man. Well, I think
claro que te
my
iba a preguntar.
personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery.
Cirugía
And,
medieval.
I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and like how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when she shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, you know, like illuminated history and falconing and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation. And there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack
Montón de mierdas, ¿no?
for
Porque
the
os flipáis.
Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys... Age of Empires, always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way. And I also love to mention this to people that you and the team do so much research. And it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But, I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know, sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do is try to tell these stories in a different way. But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking.
Ahí está por los nombres,
We're
¿no? La
trying something
peña.
completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun, and finding that middle ground is really challenging. And you know, every time we've tried to show, we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, it's gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great. And it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, you know, to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, you know, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title. And if you're really, really excited, right now, you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now. And of course, we will be there day one, Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. So anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing. But
yes, I believe you are part of something very special.
Yes, so GamesCom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
Oh, a bit of a tease from Mr. Ice Green.
Maybe.
And I like it very much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us here.
Always a pleasure, Kate.
Always a
En
pleasure.
vez de presentármelo todo hoy, me lo va a presentar en 2 cachos. Oh, qué guay. Hijos de puta.
Neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look
State of Decay 2 y Forza Horizon 5.
Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drives.
Yo lo tengo en el móvil ya, lo que pasa es que me tengo que comprar un mando compatible.
A new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
So when I think about cloud and when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you could play it anywhere and you could do it quickly.
Game Pass Ultimate. Es más caro.
That's pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard
drive. A ver, lo importante de esto es que tú lo puedes jugar en el móvil, ¿sabes?
To discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
Qué guapo, el de carreras de camiones.
The
tractoritos pequeños.
To get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play any Xbox game on Game Pass.
Ninja todas.
If my friends have titles that I don't have yet, I can just wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
Claro, joder.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console, play on PC and mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the
Es que es la
ability,
polla,
because you
joder.
are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to
De novena
play
generación.
games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can make content more readily available and let people play where they want to. Sign me up. I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
Es que mola mogollón, tío, este rollo. Dentro de poco cualquiera va a poder jugar a cualquier cosa en cualquier sitio.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X. With beautiful and rich visuals, thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance updates, this is the
Hellblade.
perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played
jugué yo
this,
estos
do
tampoco.
yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
El
They're
Minix es
also
la
talking
polla.
with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the
Mañana.
live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games
Forza
will give us an
5.
extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved
Mierda, ya me pinté.
everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far,
Debo
and
ser
I
medio
can't
tonto.
wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk
Cult of the
Wasteland 3.
Holy
Their
Detonation.
newest DLC
¿Qué es eso?
introduces us to a new cult. The Cult
Ah,
of
vale.
the Holy Detonation.
El Wasteland 3, ¿no?
The holy detonation is life. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The holy detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone.
No tienen mala pinta los Wasteland.
May the light
Yo he
of
probado
the
alguno también.
holy detonation purify you. Join us.
5 de octubre.
Rangers.
¿Qué más? Día 1 en
With new
consola y
patches,
Game
bug
Pass
fixes,
y PC.
and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age. To really savor the game's bouquet, we're talking with In Exile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here. Thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, In Exile, Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working nonstop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The
Tenemos que tener que
Cult
currar un
of the
poco más para que
Holy
me lo...
Detonation. Now, talk about
Para
that a little
meterme ahí.
bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. it's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warrior cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the holy detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god.
Es que no controlo yo el Wasteland.
You know, these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team.
Pero la verdad es que esta saga de juegos no la controlo nada.
That sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I've
Pero lo que estoy viendo no me disgusta.
But this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, you know, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the holy detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right?
Yeah.
You had giant robots and things like that. So, you know, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted
returning
players to find something that they could never find in another version or like in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this like pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're like huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Like everyone on your team has a job, and I really think it's going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging in a like mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight-up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters we'll see in the game?
Yeah, with Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun and silly. Like en Exiles, modus operandi.
Lo que se tiene que hacer, básicamente. Dejar a los creadores a su aire.
If something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards. Because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, like really letting you get deep into this like weird radiation cult, and let you interact with them and talk with them, and tell stories and like maybe even join them. And so like for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got like claws and fangs and spikes jutting out, and he's drooling, but he's like the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. Like you meet him and he's like, hey guys, you should like come in here and like soak up some of these rads, it'll be great. And he Sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if you took like 20 cultists and you like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying glass. I would like melt like army guys and like GI Joes into a big pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross, and he's hard to understand, and he needs a translator supposedly, but he's like your #1 fan. And getting to build like this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like there's one guy and he kind of devolved into this like vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while.
Quizás ese tipo de juego tenga demasiadas cosas.
But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest for new players?
¿Qué me ofreces? A ver.
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it. And then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out
El 5
on
de octubre,
October
¿no?
5th. We're really stoked.
That is awesome. So this is the Cult of the Holy
Cult of the Holy
Detonation coming October 5th. David,
Lo pone
thank you
detrás,
so much for joining
atontado.
us.
Thanks, Barish. Appreciate it.
Right. In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of
Sea of
Thieves
Thieves.
has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique ship sets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
No es lo de Piratas del Caribe. ¿Al live? Tengo varios colegas que están jugando a Sea of Thieves y dicen que está muy guay. Pero a mí no sé qué me da que no... Mayhem Ship... Borderlands.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves. And we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life, and giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind of activities that are involved, but if you head to Lorena at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn.
Pensé que eran peores los gráficos de este
So
juego.
everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time limit.
Sé que eran así tipo cartoon y tal, pero pensé que eran
and it
peores.
runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period
Desde
you've
el
got to get
7.
your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So, as always, I will see you on the seas.
7 de septiembre. (24/7) Making Mayhem. No juego el juego, tampoco me interesa demasiado. ¿Ves? ¿Quién es esta?
Hope. It's always been a dangerous world in Trumbull Valley.
Zombies, tal.
But now, it's hope that brings us back together. It reunites old friends. It builds new bonds. And in the face of a growing threat, hope is the greatest weapon we have.
¿Qué es esto? ¿Cómo sobrevivirás? Sobreviviremos. Nuevo mapa. DZ. No. State of Decay, ¿no? El Back 4 Blood no es State of Decay 2.
To Trumbull Valley.
Well, just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us
Como
through
la peli de
this Undead
Spider-Man.
update. Please join me in welcoming
Homecoming,
Undead
¿no?
Labs director of
La primera no era, la primera de la última trilogía no era Homecoming.
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here. Talk about the Homecoming update releasing on September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the Homecoming update. Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019. Talk to me about the difference.
Pues al final no fue como pensábamos, ¿no? Que iba a ser en... que hicieron en el E3. Aquí sí que vemos que hay mucha entrevista, mucha tal. Bastante paradita la conferencia. Estaba claro, ¿no? No es ninguna conferencia de presentaciones ni de últimos lanzamientos ni nada. Simplemente es una conferencia para darte el estado actual de varios lanzamientos que vendrán después, ¿no? Son juegos que ya conocíamos, que ya se sabía que iban a lanzar. Y que te están dando actualizaciones sobre ellos, ¿no? Y pequeños teasers de lo que puede haber. Está bien. ¿Ves? 45 minutos. ¿Y qué les queda por hablar?
So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find. And, you know, things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content.
Aún nos queda bastante cosas. Si van a hablar de todo lo que pensábamos.
There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons.
Estos se van a llevar un palo, como el Back 4 Blood.
And on top of that, we are adding
Se lo van a
the
comer.
12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't
A ver, igual en contenido este gana, porque lleva mucho tiempo y tal. Pero el Back 4 Blood, yo por lo que vi, a esto se lo papa, vamos.
And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass, how has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk to me about those.
It's been fantastic, and you know, we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that.
Really grateful.
Incredible.
Permíteme dudarlo.
Congratulations to you and the entire team at Undead Labs, man. Fantastic work.
Que 10 millones se lo hayan descargado gratis en Game Pass o algo así, me lo puedo creer. Pero 10 millones de jugadores online.
It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy Homecoming.
Para el 1 de septiembre.
Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Vale.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
Strayblade. ¿Qué pasa? Cada vez que me hago un pitillo tenéis que anunciar algo.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Strayblade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade. Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of
Un furro.
Mountain Valley. Master the
Ya
powers of
empezamos.
the 3 Akrian metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game.
Ya empezamos con los furros, joder, vueltas. Me cago en... A ver.
Our combat system merges
Vale, acción
strategic
RPG.
anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of
Hack and
skill-based
slash.
melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishers. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle.
Bastante pocho esto, ¿no?
Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Kriya's colorful world ranges from overgrown city
A ver, es una pre-alfa y tal,
caves and winding
pero...
canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners
Estamos
of an
cansados de ver
ever-changing
todo
world,
este tipo de
bristling with
movidas,
adventure.
joder.
Every discovery holds
No me estás ofreciendo nada
from
nuevo.
materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemy skills stay dead. New foes invade camps that you weakened. And when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights. We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which
No me
will be
estás
out
ofreciendo
next
nada
year.
nuevo, amigo.
And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
505, Crusader Kings
Next up,
3.
one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're
¿Por
talking
qué hacéis
about
esas
Crusader
bromas?
Kings
Joder.
3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom, and evil twins apparently.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3, now coming to Xbox consoles.
A ver.
My son, we must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed.
Parece la voz de Lina Headey, ¿no? De Juego de Tronos. O de la última de
He
He-Man.
never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords.
Oh.
Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life.
Estos juegos de batallas en los que ves un macaco como si fuera un ejército no me cunde nada. Juegos de estrategia, de gestión de recursos y tal.
Strategy requires cunning.
No soy muy fan de esto, ¿eh? Te ponen fecha. Si no ponen fecha, ni está ni se le espera, básicamente. ¿Esto qué es? Ah,
Crusader
vale.
Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird?
Exactly that kind of weird, which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been so long.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really
Ya
is.
salió, ¿no?
Indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year, we're talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure.
A ver, Call of Duty va
Big,
de la mano.
meaty shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming.
Está planeado en el canal para jugarlo, el 1 y el 2.
Long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Supongo que hacia Navidades, porque van a salir un montón de cosas. Hacia Navidades le daremos a esta saga. Tanto el 1 como el 2. Tengo ganas de pasarme los dos. Me mola mucho la estética que tiene este juego.
My name is Raz.
Asputin.
I'm the new intern. And today is my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment.
Depende de lo que quieras levitar.
You did what? Can't we just...
No. Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once, in case you forgot.
I've got eyes on the target. And I've got eyes on me.
Ojo.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Mandíbula. La música mola.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Ya os digo, no soy yo mucho de plataformeo y estas cosas, pero me dijeron que este estaba muy guapo. O sea que el 1. 25 de agosto, o sea que solo mañana.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette Teatree Montgomery. I am definitely dating myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off.
Ah, vale.
And even though it has been a lot of years, it's
O sea que son
a game that
continuables,
matters a
¿no?
lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them, and so we really want to be true to the
Perfecto
spirit
para jugarlo uno detrás de otro.
which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to
Yo ya os
carry
digo,
the
estos dos
legacy
les vamos a dar
forward, especially the cool
en el
style
canal,
of Wonk
tanto el 1 como el
very
2.
prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of astral projection. And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares and wrestle with their inner demons. And so there's a ton of variety, and there's a lot of anything goes. We can go to any location, we can have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun to do.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 has got it all over the place, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the unique brain worlds and unique levels from the first game and the unique style as well. So we were really focused on how we could bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons, and I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2. What does this mean? Does it mean basically is that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face?
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face, but you definitely get to slap some panic attacks.
Se acaba de romper con la
definitely
pregunta.
cause a lot of those. In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are our favorites, and they're definitely here. And in addition to that, we also have our doubts and some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also, some regrets, some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. He energizes our whole combat troop. So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Including the new bad mood.
Including the bad mood.
Which is
it's an electric storm of feelings that you have.
El bad mood es buen rollo.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way. Wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is, he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills, one being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tightropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side to his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together to solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has the power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down how things are moving by changing people's perception of time. And he also has the power of projection, which allows him to pull an archetype, a personality, out of his unconscious mind and bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps he's part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up in a completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new
Con un follow más, 90.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game. As soon as Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately gets introduced to the interns. And the interns quickly tell him and show him how he fits into the organization.
The bottom.
They're right down at the bottom.
Yeah, so earn his way back to the top again. He's no longer the coolest kid in summer camp.
Se estás columpiando con esto,
much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him.
Van a dejar el Fable y el...
The interns find out he's the awkward middle child of the circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that. And of course, as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world exact some beefy, meaty revenge?
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is.
Mañana.
Lizette, Tim from Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
Thank you.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox Play stream tomorrow. But first, we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets.
The Gang. ¿Ves? Ahí lo traemos.
4K60 trailer for
de esto, por ejemplo, en el E3 no se habló. A ver.
I don't like this weather. I'm pretty sure the ship's insurance won't cover alien storm damage. You have to be careful out there.
The gunk's eating everything here. This planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone.
Luce similar al Psychonauts, pero como más bonito, ¿no? Más bonito, más maduro, menos pensado para un público más infantil.
Bex. Oh, please, Bex.
Y ya está.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on. And hey, you know what? Great job on that Flight Sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorg is always a blast, and Flight
¿Y ya
Sim
está o
is
qué?
such a
¿Qué me
special
cuentas?
game
No.
to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me
Falta
travel
media hora,
the
tío.
world.
¿O no hablasteis de
But
Forza o no hablasteis de...?
I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you, be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox, so make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full
Sí, hijo de puta, pero no lo tienes subtitulado.
If you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado,
básicamente eso significa que hay drops activados en sus canales para el Forza.
Which is available for pre-order today, so players
Puedo
can have
reservar
it
desde hoy,
in hand
9 de
by
noviembre.
November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
A ver, que en el 3 flipé con el trailer de esto. Tiene una pinta increíble. A ver, los Forza siempre, ¿no? Los Forza gráficamente son brutales, joder. ¿Está bien de volumen? No tiene más calidad, ¿no? ¿Por qué me estás poniendo un vídeo del mando de Xbox? Pues me parece feo de cojones.
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games with Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown and Forza Horizon art director Don.
¿Qué me estás contando? ¿Le van a cerrar con media hora el Forza? No puede ser.
Hey Charlie, how cool is this? That is stunning. Look at that.
Pues
well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting cars.
Yeah, and people think that
Hostia,
Mexico
pues
is
para hacer un mundo abierto de un juego de coches tienes que hacer un mapa muy tocho.
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering snow-capped volcano, the highest point we've ever had in a Horizon game.
So you've talked about how Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features, but what more can you tell us about that?
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel throughout the world, all rendered in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
A ver. Ojo. ¿Es un Mercedes? Sí, el AMG. Ojo. Qué guapo. Qué guapo. A ver si se ve de lujo. Vamos a ver. Se ve que flipas. Esto ya os digo, en cuanto acabe la conferencia esta, esperáis un rato y la tenéis resubida en 4K en el canal de Xbox. Tiene pinta de que esto va a ser media horita de Forza, ¿eh? O sea, que se van a dejar el Abowen, el Fable, el Stalker 2, no van a decir nada del Back 4 Blood, el Scorn, no van a decir nada de Kojima.
You know, that's primed for rugged off-roading across Mexico's vast terrain.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1
Un gameplay de 8
and
minutos. Pues sí, van a acabar con esto.
And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active
más.
volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo
Avisaron de que
planes,
duraba
and
90 minutos la conferencia.
all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
I think we should.
Vamos a poner el gameplay de 8 minutos. Perfecto. A ver. Ojo. Esto es gameplay, ya. Adiós. Rápido y furioso. 27. Ojo. Empezar así un juego mola. ¡Viva México, cabrones!
Of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, atop of the towering, snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
See you on the other side.
¡Qué guapo! Esto debe ser la primera misión, ¿no? Que te están enseñando con los controles. ¡Adiós! ¡Ojo! Guapísimo. Que lo sigas, te dicen. Disponible en noviembre en Game Pass. Bueno, claro. El 9 de noviembre. Hasta luego, pringaos. Adiós. Oh, qué guapo, y te metes en una carrera. Esto ya no es gameplay. Ah, y ahora sueltan el Mercedes. Ahí va el Mercedes.
Lovely day for a drive.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Mira, tormenta ven ahí atrás. Tú dale. Pero písale, pinche puerco. Oh. Ojo el avión. Agua. Qué guapo las gotas de agua en la cámara. El nivel de detalle es brutal en este juego. Joder, yo sé que cada vez que hay una conferencia de estas, tío, parezco un niño con zapatos nuevos, tío. Pensar que todo esto lo vas a poder jugar desde el día 1 en Game Pass, pagando casi nada, es brutal. No. ¿Otro coche? Todo terreno, ¿no? Parece. Plank. Pero no es una selva. ¡Un Porsche! ¡Qué guapo!
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through the dense jungle tree canopy.
¿Cómo carajo vas a meter un Porsche en la selva? Joder. Tiene pintaza este juego, ¿eh? Sí, sí. No soy yo muy de coches, no tengo ni un carnet de conducir. Pero, ojo. A los que les mole el rollo de conducir y tal, este juego tiene una pinta espectacular. Sobre todo ya desde que no hay competencia con Need for Speed, ni con Gran Turismo, ni con todas estas cosas. Ahora Forza es como el top de gama, ¿no? De los juegos de coches. Oh, qué guapo. Pues mira, vas a millas por hora, vale. Decía yo. Millas por hora, o pulgadas, o en piedras, o en vasos. Mientras todo lo que no sea calcular las velocidades y las distancias como la gente normal. Buen detalle lo de poner un gameplay largo, ¿eh? Mira los pajaritos, los flamencos. ¡Ay, ay! Highway to Horizon. Ojo. A ver el festival. Ojo. Ahí va el Mercedes. Guapísimo. Corre hasta el festival.
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
A 200 millas por hora, ojo. Como pides una piedra, vas al carajo. Vaya tela como se ve este juego, Ojo. Sí, claro. 210 millas por hora. Parece que es el tope. Ah, que le está echando la carrera al avión. Ah, se va follado. Qué guapo. Y ya estaría. ¿Qué hora es? Y 22. ¡Ah! Nos llegasteis a los 90. Hijos de puta. Que te calles. Vamos a poner musiquita normal. Es one. Puta idea. Fuera. Me vale. Pues eso es lo que nos dejó la GamesCon de hoy. Voy a repasar un poco lo que pudimos ver. Vamos a ver. No se presentaron nuevos títulos. Correcto. No se habló de lo de Kojima. Correcto. O sea que podemos esperarlo para los Games Awards, que no sé cuándo serán este año. Imagino que cerca de Navidades o por ahí. No se habló del Halo Infinite. Ojo. Tenía aquí una oportunidad muy guay y no. Hablamos de Age of Empires. Se habló del Forza. No se habló de Fable. No se habló de Abowed. No se habló de Scorn. Se habló de The Grunk. Tampoco dijeron nada. Enseñaron así un pequeño... ¿Te estás sonando bien? Vamos a ver. Sí. Lo escuchaba yo medio raro. A ver. Del Scorn, se habló del The Gang. Se habló del Hellblade 2 así por encima. No se habló del Stalker 2. No se habló del Back 4 Blood. Recordemos, se jugó la beta hace 2 semanas, pero está sin lanzar. Cosa rara. No se habló del Battlefield. Joder. Obviamente Bethesda no estaba, porque tiene conferencia el jueves. Y bueno, pudimos ver Dying Light 2, Stray Human, que debe ser una actualización, una expansión. Hablamos de Flying Simulator, Reno Air Race, un nuevo modo de juego con multijugador. Esto acabó, ¿no? Sí. Un nuevo modo de juego multijugador para el Flying Simulator, de lo de carreras, aviones y tal, que saldrá en otoño. Hablamos de una expansión para el Wasteland 3, Cult of the Holy Detonation, que saldrá el 5 de octubre y que estará en Game Pass también. Hablamos de un montón de indies que no me dio tiempo a apuntar. Los tendré que mirar por la noche. Del Wasteland 3 salió un directivo de In Exile explicando el juego y tal. Hablamos de Into the Pit, un roguelite shooter que saldrá el 19 de octubre en Game Pass. Nos enseñaron un poco de eso. Bueno, realmente no nos enseñaron nada. Imagen en juego no vimos nada. Pero del Age of Empires 4, que sale el 28 de octubre. Pusieron un vídeo ahí de cómo funcionaban nuestras buquetes de verdad y tal. No tenía mucho sentido, la verdad. Nos pusieron el vídeo del Xbox Cloud Gaming, que está guay, que es lo de jugar en el móvil o en consola o en PC, juegos de la nube de Xbox Game Pass, supongo. Nos hablaron de la nueva expansión o evento del Sea of Thieves, que empieza mañana y dura hasta el 7 de septiembre. Y puedes conseguir un barco inspirado en el Borderlands. Nos hablaron de la expansión del State of Decay 2, Homecoming. ¿Qué más? Hablaron del Stray Blade, que saldrá el año que viene, que es un RPG y tal. Tampoco le hice mucho caso. Crusader Kings 3, adaptación a Xbox, que no es un port. Es una adaptación. También va a estar en Game Pass. Joder. También hablaron del Psychonauts 2, que sale mañana. En Game Pass también. Todo lo que sale en Xbox sale día 1 en Game Pass. O sea que si no lo tenéis, ya estáis tardando en pagarlo. Si lo vais a usar, claro. Si no lo vais a usar, no lo pagáis. No seáis tontos. También hablaron del The Gang. También así parecido al Psychonauts. También con pinta de ser plataforma con acción y tal. Tiene buena pinta. No habían hablado de él en el E3. Está bien saber algo de él. Y después se despidieron con Forza Horizon 5, ambientado en festival en México, no sé qué, que sale 9 de noviembre en Game Pass, con coches como el Mercedes AMG que vimos, el Bronco que vimos y tal. Yo ya os digo, echo de menos pues eso, Fable, el Aboguen de Obsidian, que llevamos esperando por él no sé cuánto tiempo y no se sabe nada de él. Del Stalker 2, que en el E3 tuvo una muy buena acogida. O del Back 4 Blood, que la beta a mí me pareció un juegazo, la verdad. Un juegazo cooperativo de 4 personas, mata zombies de toda la vida. Muy guay. Pues eso es lo que nos ofrecieron en esta conferencia. Sabíamos que no iba a ser una conferencia top, como puede ser un E3 o un Games Awards o tal. Pero bueno, nos han enseñado cositas. Los vídeos de Forza y de Flight Simulator son la hostia. Vemos que la nueva generación es potente en cuanto a gráficos y en cuanto a rendimiento. Y yo, ¿qué quieres que te diga? Con lo que más me quedo es con el Cloud Gaming, Con Cloud Gaming y Game Pass, tío. A mí si Microsoft no me enseña nada más de juegos, sacando una vez al año algún tráiler o tal, yo pago Game Pass sin dudarlo. Y si me los enseñan, pues con más a gusto, claro. Me parece un sistema de juego brutal, espectacular. Pagas... Es como Netflix, pero en bien. Porque en Netflix tienes un catálogo de mierda, con alguna cosita para ver, que no te cubre todo el mes ni de coña. Pero esto, pagar un mes de Game Pass, el mes ya lo tienes. O sea, con un juego que pilles, el mes ya lo tienes pagado. Me parece la hostia. Bueno, y con estos acordes de fondo lo vamos a dejar aquí por hoy. Ha sido un placer. Me sigue dando toque estar en 89 followers. Necesitamos llegar a 90 o a 100. Igual cuando lleguemos a 100, igual regalo algo. Tengo mucho cacharro por aquí que me sobra. ¿Qué más? Pues nada. Como siempre, ha sido un placer. No sé si lo ha visto alguien, pero yo lo voy a seguir haciendo igual. Igual no, siempre iremos mejorando. Lo dicho, ha sido un placer. Podéis seguirme en redes sociales. Tenéis abajo en la descripción las redes, los links a las redes. Los vídeos están resubidos en YouTube o los podéis ver en Twitch si no son de hace mucho. Y hasta aquí. Espero que os haya gustado. Y nos vemos mañana. A ver si nos damos acabado el 12 Minutes. O a ver si mañana igual entramos con esta gente. No lo sé. Esta noche me lo pienso. Bueno. Pues ha sido un placer. Nos vemos mañana. Adeus.